Derek to continue with permissiveness starting now. If you pick up the popular newspapers today, they're filled with articles about this permissiveness. Do you like it? Do you think it's I, Williams, why you charge?
Well, it was all rubbish.
You may think it was rubbish, but he wasn't deviating from the subject, so Derek has another point, a continuous...
Well, I haven't said anything for ages.
You've just spoken.
No, I mean, had a long go.
I'm afraid it's been one of those shows where nobody really has had a long go except Derek Miller. He's rather taken over the show this week, but still that happens sometimes, and even the best, and therefore people who write in and say, I favour one or the other, which is entirely untrue, will show that this isn't, because here's Derek running away with it. There are 18 seconds left for permissiveness, Derek, starting now.
The hypocrisy of the 19th century is something which I very much adore. I do think...
Jackie McKenzie, why would you?
It wasn't about hypocrisy.
No, he said he abhorred it as opposed to the permissiveness of the present age. I think he got that quite clear. For the fact that Derek has another point. There are 12 seconds left before permissiveness starting now.
The streets in that era were filled...
Clement Freud, why did you challenge?
I'd like Derek to have another point.
You haven't heard from you for quite a long time. We did hear from you then, and I think it's very generous of you to get Derek at another point. He doesn't need it, actually. He is going to win, I can assure you of that. So Derek has another point, and there are 7 seconds left for permissiveness starting now.
I think sometimes on a bus it's awfully nice to ignore the notice which says, don't spit here.
I tell you, the dear messenger who holds the stopwatch for us even got permissive himself and let the watch run on after that last challenge. She only had to guess the last number of seconds, but I don't think there was any doubt about it that Derek has not only got a lot more points, and we have to come to the end of the show for this week. Let me tell you that Clement Freud and Kenneth Williams were both equal in 3rd place. They were just behind Jacqueline McKenzie, who perhaps got a little encouragement from the chairman as it was her first
You're
time.
not kidding me.
But there's no doubt about it. This week's winner by
Overwhelming.
Thank you very much, David. And it's by an overwhelming
Majority.
by a commanding lead, an overwhelming majority of points, was Derek Nimmer. I think that is what actually is often termed a popular win. So thank you very much indeed, ladies and gentlemen of the audience. We hope you've enjoyed the show, and we hope everybody listening has enjoyed it, and from us all here, goodbye.
The chairman of Just a Minute was Nicholas Butt. The programme was devised by Ian Messiter and produced by David Hamill. Guernsey in just a minute. And as the minute waltz fades away, here to tell you about it is our chairman, Nicholas Puss.
Thank you very much indeed, and welcome once again to Just a Minute. And once again, we welcome the 4 keen competitors to do battle, and they're all going to try and speak, if they can, for just a minute on some unlikely subject, without hesitation, without repetition, and without deviation. That is, without deviating from the subject on the card. And according to how well they do it, and how often they're challenged, they will either gain points or give them away. And let us begin the show this week with Kenneth Williams. Kenneth, a very apt subject for you, and a marvellous subject, I think, to begin the show with: panic. Kenneth, will you talk to us about panic for 60 seconds, starting now?
Well, this sort of thing generally sets in when the circumstances appear to be outside of range of one's normal control. If a person understands...
Clement Freud is challenged. Why?
What?
Why have you challenged Clement?
The batteries run down.
The battery on your buzzer or the... So they insist you challenge then.
Well, I think maybe the audience...
The audience have definitely said that you won a point, but I wanted to know what you think it was.
I thought he slowed down beyond the realms of
That's not the
decency.
point. It's
Yeah.
hesitation you've got to get.
Yes, but there must become a point, Kenneth, when you get so
There's
slow.
no point should this go about hesitation, deviation, or repetition, and I did none of those 3 things.
No, but you've got...
So don't flannel me, mate.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to the Kenneth Williams Show. There must come a point, Kenneth, when you do go so slowly that it becomes, I think, interpreted as hesitation. I am not going to be the judge. If you agree with Clement Freud's challenge of a hesitation because of the slowness, will you cheer? If you disagree, will you boo? And will you all do it together now? You see, Kenneth, Clement Freud has a plan. And there are 47 seconds left for panic, Clement, starting now.
In the 1920s, Panic was one of the finest 6-furlong sprinters to be seen on the racecourses of England. He won victories at Great Yarmouth, Newmarket, Devon and Exeter, and there was one occasion late in June at Ludlow.
Kenneth Williams,
I think his batteries are running down.
It's very clever. Did you see, ladies and gentlemen of the audience, how Kenneth suddenly got the idea? He suddenly let go. All right, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll be utterly fair about this. I put the decision last time about batteries. All right. If you agree with Kenneth Williams' challenge, will you cheer? And if you disagree, will you boo? And you all do it together now. It wasn't as decisive as last time, but I would say the cheers just got it. Yes, just got it. It wasn't decisive, you see.
Of course, they just got a duckling's right on my side.
You cheered as well, did you?
Yeah.
All right, then. Clement Freud, who is so clever again, I'm sure can afford to be magnanimous and allow you to take over the subject of panic again, having gained a point. 19 seconds left, starting now.
Very often leads to hysteria and a great screaming and shouting, rush for the doors, and people falling over each other in the melee, police called, and fire brigades, horrible mutilations everywhere. Oh, my legs! Oh, my arms! Where's my head?
Clement Freud challenged just before the whistle went.
Repetition, oh my legs, oh my arms.
It's true, isn't it? It's true. I've got to give it to him. He's so clever getting in just before the whistle goes. So, Clement, I have to agree with you. You gain another point. You take over the subject of panic, and there are 2 seconds left, starting now.
Sandown Park on the outer.
For those of you who may not know, the whistle, which is blown so beautifully by Ian Messiter, who sits beside me, tells us that 60 seconds is up, and whoever is speaking at that moment gets an extra point. This occasion it was Clement Freud, so he now has a very commanding lead over everybody else at the end of that round. In fact, 2 people have yet to score, and Kenneth Williams has 1. Oh, Clement, it's your turn to begin the next round. The subject that's been thought of for you is 12th birthdays. So can you talk about 12th birthdays for 60 seconds, starting now?
But by a strange coincidence, this is exactly what is occurring in my family at this moment. And what we do is we go out and purchase macaroons and donuts, jam tarts, waffles, jellies, custards, and make biscuits, sandwiches of tomato and cheese, pickled chutney, relish, horseradish, to which he's particularly partial, and we get a cake with 12 candles, and by means of deploying a dozen matches, each of these static lights is lit, or made active, as they say in television. Then do we gather around this festive board, and my wife, the honest butler, the carriage attendant, and our chauffeur sing happy birthday to you, joyous anniversary for the cheerful celebration, dear Dominic, utter glumptiousness on the occasion of the renewal of your date of birth.
He kept going for 60 seconds, he kept going in spite of challenges. You weren't challenged.
Well, I don't think his wife is an honest butler.
I don't know what her maiden name was, actually. But, no. I mean, obviously you can refer to your wife, especially if you're using a literary phrase. So, Clement, I have to agree with you. You gain another point, and there are 2 seconds left, starting now.
Up in a Christmas tree.
Got a strange subject, and in spite of the challenges he kept going throughout to the end, and he has increased his lead quite considerably over everybody else at the end of that round. Jacqueline Mackenzie, will you begin the next round? The subject is occasions on which I wear earrings. You've had a little moment to think about the subject, so can you talk to us about it for 60 seconds, starting now?
Well, I hope I'm not very different from other people, but as a rule I wear earrings on my nose at occasions, and this is something I haven't done latterly because I wear earrings only in public, on festive events, mostly at night. And latterly, with the fact that clothes aren't often worn or worn late at night, I have been there.
Catherine, as well, you challenged too late at night.
Yes, there were 2 late at nights, and the idea of
Too, isn't it?
well, not only that, the idea of clothes not being worn latterly late at night. I wonder what sort of parties Jacqueline attends, actually. Kenneth, I agree with your challenge, so you gain a point, and you take over the subject. There are 37 seconds left. Occasions on which I wear earrings. You may well look shattered. You've had a little moment to think about it. Now tell us here, Kenneth, what are the occasions on which...
that was the time.
She said latterly twice and nobody challenged her way back because they didn't want to get in with it either. So you got in. Will you tell us, Kenneth, for 37 seconds, the occasions on which you wear earrings, starting...
Oh, it's murder.
Starting now.
Well, the one occasion in which I did do it was when I
why you
bought...
challenged.
Deviation.
Why?
The subject's occasion.
Yes, and he's about to tell us about one occasion on which... Well, he often uses this expression, the occasion, or the one occasion.
He knows me.
I agree that this is not probably the best English, but people do use this expression colloquially, and one has to speak colloquially in this game, otherwise you
It's very fair, it's very proper.
I'm glad I'm being proper with you. I'm just picking up. Kenneth, you get another point, because I disagree with the challenge. There are 34 seconds left for you to tell us the occasions on which I wear earrings, starting now.
I remember purchasing these for a lady, and it occurred to me that I should try them out apropos of the... No, well, I meant, you see, you're not supposed to say apropos of, you're supposed to say apropos the thing, not supposed to say apropos of it. That's what I was trying to correct myself.
They made you self-conscious about your English because you said the occasion.
That's what I mean,
yes. But unfortunately, I have to agree with the challenges. It was legitimate. Very
Lackaday rude.
We must ask him on the program one time. There are 21 seconds left, Derek, for you to continue. Occasions on which I wear earrings, starting now.
Whenever I go to a boy's 12th birthday, I always wear the most magnificent pair of sequined earrings. Which is a lovely white chariot flying across the desert on my radar. And when I get
and they see them.
I'm sorry, the buzzer didn't sound, but actually from the light in front of me tells me that Kenneth Williams challenged you. Derek, why, Kenneth?
Because it's plainly obvious it was all lies.
Well, we don't know. It might be patently obvious to you, but we don't know, and therefore, as we have no means of judging, we just have to accept his word, and because he wasn't deviating from the subject on the card, and he continues with occasions on which I wear earrings, with another point, Derek. 11 seconds left, starting now.
Another time was when I was at Chiswick MI in London, and I was playing the Grand Vizier, and I had two large gold earrings, which I found awfully attractive, and the audience used to applaud them every night when I was on.
Derek was speaking then when the whistle went. He gains another point. He's now in second place, equal with Kenneth Williams, who are both trailing a little behind our leader still, Clement Freud. Kenneth Williams, your turn to begin. The subject is the art of listening. Would you talk to us for 60 seconds on that subject, starting now?
The art of listening consists in appearing to be interested whether you are in fact or not. And it is something I have never really mastered in sense of mastery. But of course one can incline the head and appear to be interested. I find very, very difficult, and I say often not off. I frequently not off.
Clement Freud should challenge why.
Where does one start?
Well, all right.
Not off, not off.
Not off, not off, not off. And Clement, I agree with the challenge. You gain a point. You take over the subject. 33 seconds left. The art of listening, starting now.
This is really a very difficult subject on which to talk, because ideally one says nothing, inclines one's head, as my colleague Kenneth Williams so wisely stated.
Kenneth, why have you challenged?
There's repetition.
Why?
You just said I said it. I did say
Yes, but-
incline your head. I just said it.
Yes, but you said it, but he didn't say it before. And that's when you're repetitious, when you're speaking with the subject, when you repeat it. With something that you actually said before, not in reference to somebody else who said something. So it's not a clear challenge, I mean it's not a legitimate one, so Clement gets another point, and there are 18 seconds left for the art of listening, starting now.
Arthur the Third Earl of Shrewsbury was possibly the greatest exponent of this art, and many memorial statues have been put up in cities and county towns in England, showing this good man, this noble, virtuous soldier, inclined...
Derek Nimmer, why have you challenged?
Sir Earl Shrewsbury wasn't a
How do you know? How does Clement know? How do I know? How does anybody in the audience know? He might have been a soldier, he might have been in the local home guard. He might have been in the local home guard, you never know the
The
time.
title's too old.
Of course, Derek knows this subject. You see, he's caught you out. This is the
Actually, you don't even know which Earl of Shrewsbury you're referring to. Yeah, and he was definitely not a soldier.
Definitely.
Ladies and gentlemen, he might have done some soldiering. We do not know for certain. So, if you agree with Derek's challenge, would you cheer? And if you disagree, will you boo? And will you all do it together now? You have decided that the third Earl of Shrewsbury never did any soldiering. And if there's any relations of his now, descendants of his listening in, and they thought that their ancestor did a little bit of soldiering, the honour of the family, then I apologise for our audience. But Derek Nimmo gains a point and takes over the subject of the art of listening. 5 seconds left, starting now.
The second Lord Chesterfield, on the other hand, was the most splendid listener and was known for rich society.
On that occasion, Derek Nimmo was speaking when the whistle went, so he gains another point, but he's still in second place behind Clement Freud. Kenneth Williams is in third place, a little way behind, and Jacqueline is trailing a little behind Kenneth. Your turn to begin the next round. Tidying out my drawers. Can you talk to us about tidying out my drawers for 60 seconds, starting now?
Tidying out my drawers has been the bane of my existence because I live most of the time in a suitcase and I don't have those parts of a wardrobe within that transportation piece of item article. I spend my time tidying out other people's various receptacles for clothes, underwear, nasty pieces of paper, sweet papers that usually belong to...
Clement Freud, why have you challenge?
Paper.
Yes, there were two pieces of paper. There was an awful lot of words that didn't make sense too, but there was two pieces of paper.
my drawers make any sense?
Clement, you have got the subjects, and I defy you to continue in the same tone.
Define?
Yes.
You should encourage and help, not define.
I defy him not to lower the standard
Oh, I
of the program.
see. Oh, well, expressions got more ridiculous.
Give me a chance. Tidying up my drawers, Clement. Can you talk to us on that for 34 seconds, starting now?
I find this a very substantial task because my drawers are very much longer than most of the and I begin by removing any hairs from my knees and upper thigh, whereafter I rise gently on the anatomy.
Derek never wipe your challenge.
I wish I had.
So all that happens if you take back the challenge is that because you pressed your buzzer, Clement gains a point and continues for 18 seconds, tidying out my drawers, starting now.
There are also sideboards which contain pants and vests, shirts, collars.
Kenneth Williams, wipe your challenge.
Sideboards couldn't possibly contain vests and pants. They come down from your ears and you couldn't get them.
Even if you take sideboards in the other sense, that he has a sideboard in the dining room and he keeps his vest and pants in it, it's very devious, isn't it?
Yeah.
So on both scores, I must obviously give it to you and say that you have 14 seconds left for tidying up my drawers, starting now.
This is ridiculous. It should be retitled Tidying Up. I have never in my life heard the word accompanied by out, and it should never have been put so in the first place. Ian Messiter should be publicly catechized.
Very clever, wipe your challenge.
I'm not talking about the subject, just sort of casually.
Of course I'm discussing the subject. I'm discussing the subject. I should be phrased. How dare Yes, thank you. You've been right. I've been a punctual. Leave him alone.
All right, anybody else want to speak up for Kenneth Williams and want the challenge to say something? All right, so there we are. But you see, Derek, quite clearly, he was speaking about the subject on the card, and he was being very cruel to Ian Messiter and criticised him for the way he
Thought up the game.
who invited you to be on the programme.
Yes.
Yes.
Very horrid, Kenny, if you think about
Yeah.
it.
So, but you gained a point, so what does it matter? That's all that matters, isn't this game? The point. So there are 2 seconds left for tidying up my drawers, Kenneth, starting now.
On the other hand, he draws me out.
Kenneth's drawers have given him a leap forward. And he's gone from 4th to 3rd place, just behind Derek, who's still quite a way behind Clement Freud, who's still in the lead. Derek, a good subject for you to begin the next round with. Charlie. Can you talk to us about Charlie for 60 seconds, starting now?
I am proud to be able to say here that I am the original Charlie. There are lots of imitators, but when people see me in the street, my goodness, they say he's a right Charlie, and there I am. And I admit to it immediately. Also, of course, one thinks of speed bonny boat like a bird on the wing, over the sea to sky, carrying the lad that's born to be king. What's that sorry about?
No. Clement Freud has buzzed now.
I'm so sorry.
The hush put us in awe, but your actual delivery on that occasion put us in even more awestruck awe. And that's why you paused. Clement Freud got inverted his challenge. Why would you try it?
Hesitation.
Hesitation, I agree. Clement, you gain a point. 30 seconds left for Charlie, starting now.
Charlie is my darling, my...
Well, it must be deviation.
All right, so take the subject and a point, and 26 seconds left for Charlie, starting now.
I once appeared at musical comedy in the Strand with that name and a girl on the end of it. And goodness me, it was a happy time. All sorts of jolly chums I made. Dave Ananigal, full stop, who was there with me, most lovely lady, and other people too, if I could only think who was the most beautiful of
Jacqueline
them all.
Mackenzie, why would you?
Hesitation.
Yes, I think there was.
Yes.
Right. So, Jacqueline, you gain a point and the subject. There are 5 seconds left for Charlie, starting now.
Well, for my money, the greatest Charlie of all was Charlie Chaplin, Cockney, and a great...
Jacqueline Mackenzie was then speaking when the whistle went. She gains another point for that. She is still, alas, in 4th place behind Kenneth. Kenneth is just 2 points behind Derek, but they're all quite a few points behind Clement Freud. Clement, Kenneth, it's your turn to begin. The subject is Sunday. Can you talk to us for about a minute on that, starting now?
A day of solemnity when one hears church bells ringing, a hateful sound. And indeed, I wrote to this vicar and said, can't you stop them? And he said, no, it's the established church. We have the right to ring them whenever we like, to call them to worship. I said, well, do it another way. There's all sorts of modern ways you can do it. You don't have anything blang, blang, blang. It goes on, blang, all about. There is
repetition of black.
I know that in the '93 they say the cracking Big Ben gives it its lovely quality.
You blang.
Challenge me.
Derek challenged you.
On ground.
Blang.
Blang. And you tried to blang your way out of it.
That was onomatopoeic.
So there we are. Derek, I agree with the challenge. A repetition of